Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, where everything you're about to hear and see has been done in one take. I am your host, the One Take Man. About 3 months ago, I released my first in a series of videos where I talked about Special Unit 2, a paranormal police procedural about a department or division of the Chicago Police Department investigating various crimes committed by supernatural creatures within the Chicago jurisdiction. As I was, as I was doing a little bit of research into finding out, what kind of legacy or pop culture impact that show had, I ran into something called the Tommy Westfall universe. For those of you who are unaware of it, the Tommy Westfall universe is basically a concept which states that most, if not all, of TV fiction is in fact the creation or the product of the imagination of Tommy Westfall, an autistic child character from the medical drama series Saint Elsewhere. It's basically something akin to a niche in-joke that a whole bunch of TV creators and showrunners occasionally reference in some form or other. Maybe because they want to uh, connect between each other, or because they think it's cute. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't really think much of it when I first encountered this theory, uh, but then after a while I thought, you know what? I'm autistic. I have a passion, or at least an interest, when it comes to TV, and I have some ideas for, and I did cook up some ideas for various TV shows that have been rattling through my brain for quite a while. Some, some ever since high school even. So I thought, you know what? Why not? I'm going to, I'm going to make some videos on the topic as well. And that is what I'll be doing throughout most of this month, with one exception we'll get to when its time comes. Note that I am not exactly sure whether whether these shows would actually be connected in and of themselves in some capacity, maybe taking place in the same setting, continuity, what have you. Um, but or if they're not, maybe, or if they will not perhaps be fictional shows that characters will discuss within their as being part of their own fictional universes. And yeah, really, I haven't really figured that out yet, and I don't particularly feel compelled to do so right now because this intro has already gone on for long enough. the first, the first of these show concepts that I would like to discuss, as the title will have already given away, is a sequel series to Run Lola Run, or as it is perhaps more well known internationally, um, under its original German name, Lolarent. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this piece of post-unification German cinema, the very basic idea of this movie is that the titular young lady has to, or sets it, or says it, or decides for herself that she wants to, collect 100,000 Deutsche Mark, because yes, this is a pre-Euro movie, in order to save her boyfriend from the wrath of her gang boss. This movie, from this very simple premise, this movie is able to do some pretty creative stuff, to the point where it actually made stars of its of its leading actors as well as director. Has become somewhat of a staple in the within the alternate culture of the late 90s, early aughts, and has been referenced, now and then on various shows with various occasions. The most prominent of which I am aware of is actually during Good versus Evil, a show that I have referenced twice so far this year. The first such reference actually came during the first special unit 2 video. So yeah, that should give you an idea of the kind of media diet I've had, I've had while in high school. The movie is constructed in such a way as to inspire plenty of questions, and the one I've been left with ever since I've seen it is, well, what happens to the leads after the movie? Some could argue that it goes against the point of the movie to think up what a potential sequel could be, because the very point of it is that actions are free flowing and open ended, and that you have the freedom to do to do whatever, and and dreaming up any kind of sequel would very much go against that. But honestly, while I see the point, I am not pleased with that point. I want to go one step beyond, and that is exactly what I want to do with this series concept. And the series would take place 5 years after the events of the movie. Now, with most of Europe now in the early adoption phase of the euro, with the leading lady Lola being actually employed within the organization run by Ronnie, the previously mentioned gang boss, who is using a whole bunch of front-end shell companies to maintain an air of legitimacy around his operations, and also using drugs in order to make sure that his underlings, Lola included, stay loyal. I haven't really figured out what drugs yet because, well, my imagination in high school had some limits. It was pretty broad, but it still had its limits. Anyway, the first episode would kickstart by establishing everything that I just told you, either through dialogue or visual cues. But then its action would start with Lola being sent to run some errands on her boss's behalf. While she is out to run her errands, she encounters a whole bunch of people, some of whom are connected to Ronnie's operation. Some, like a cryptic stranger who I will very much admit that was intended to be a self-insert, and another who is a somewhat rowdy delivery guy. She is at least initially unaware of, but make no mistake, they will come back eventually. Anyway, once she is done with this section of of her day, she goes back to her place of work, which is a warehouse, or at least it looks like a very common warehouse from the outside. And she arrives at it just in time to see it explode. So she's close enough to see it, but far enough to not actually be hurt by it. And as she is standing there, looking at this thing burning, and realizing that her source of income and of drugs, let's be honest, goes up in flames, and therefore she will no longer have access to the same benefits that she might have had. The cryptic stranger comes back into the fold and makes her an offer. And namely, his offer is that she join his gang, and in turn, he would help her find out who did this, or what exactly caused this thing to happen, this explosion. This is important at this point because by this point of the episode, not only are there various characters that have already been established that could be explored later on throughout the season, but also this gets to showcase how significant and how connected a figure Ronnie really is within this criminal underground. And so his sudden disappearance, let alone death, would actually be a big deal. And it is the kind of thing that that would push certain people together or in certain directions. Lola, however, refuses the offer and instead decides to go back to whatever home she managed to find for herself, get her affairs in order, and get out of town as soon as possible. Unfortunately for her, that doesn't really work, and she finds herself pursued by a hitman. Not exactly sure who will have sent this hitman yet. That's a mystery for now, at least. And as she's trying to evade capture, she once again runs into that rowdy delivery guy that has been established earlier on in this episode, who is also running away from a hitman. But unlike her, he is followed by a by a minder who has been saddled with or assigned to after a particular after he screwed up one of his deliveries. Yes, I do actually intend for this delivery to get to get shown over the course. I did actually intend for this delivery to get shown over the course of this episode, but that's but that's beside the point right now. The point is, these people are established to be on the run for their for their own specific reasons, and now they are both pursued by someone who wants to end them. So they team up. They run away together. Unfortunately, their hitmen also team up. And after they move around for a while, the cryptic stranger shows up again and restating his offer, but also adding a little bit of a something to sweeten the deal. In that he'll help them escape their pursuers, and in return they join his gang. They agree. He keeps his word, and it is this way that the main cast of this show comes together. The epilogue or stinger of this first episode will see Lola's boyfriend from the movie, because yes, I haven't forgotten about him, and we get to see that he is part of that he is actually part of the police, because yeah, apparently at some point in his past he has been screwed over so badly by by Ronnie that he decided that he would join the other side, so to speak. And I imagine that he'll have spent a significant part of those 5 years in investigating Ronnie's affairs and trying to bust him. When, however, this explosion happens and his entire operation seems to go up in smoke, he begins to have his doubts and is assigned, and because of his experience, is assigned to work this case on behalf of the police. And yeah, from this point forward, the next the first season, or at least the first season of the show, will basically follow the twin investigations, that of the police and that of the lead cast, Lola's gang, as they try to uncover what exactly happened, what exactly happened to Ronnie, who did this to him, why did it happen, as both of these parties also try to contain and mitigate the fallout that resulted from someone as important and connected as him disappearing. And also there are plenty of opportunities for personal drama to be handled, such as Lola's addiction, her boyfriend trying to use their connection to get her back on the straight and narrow. What exactly the delivery guy has going on that makes him rowdy. Maybe even a little something about the cryptic stranger to figure out what exactly his deal is. And as for casting, well, the only thoughts I made when it comes to that are the fact that this show would have to either be recast or animated, because while as far as I'm aware the leads of the original movie are still alive, still active, they will have definitely aged out of their roles by this point, because keep in mind this series is supposed to happen 5 years after the movie, and we are now well over 25 years after the movie. So that's why I would want them recast, unless the show is animated. in which case they might be able to reprise their role as as in a voiceover manner. And yeah, that was basically it. That was my that was my pitch for what a potential Run Lola Run sequel series would look like. Thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed it, well then please like the video, maybe even share it wherever you think other people will also like the video. If there is anything you'd like to add, either to the concept of a sequel series or to the sequel series to this movie, or to my particular implementation of how this sequel series is supposed to work, well, that's what the comment section is for. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe. And ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. I also have a main channel where I talk about the print medium and selected works therein, a link to which you can find in the description down below, right past my social media links, which I also suggest you check out should you choose to. If that doesn't interest you, well then I suggest you stay on this channel and go through my extensive backlog, where aside from TV show pitches, I also do movie pitches occasionally, as well as reviews and retrospectives of both movies and TV series, alongside a few other stuff. And if that doesn't interest you either, well then I suggest you go ahead and do whatever you want the rest of your day, because it is your day after all. And yeah, that was it for me. So until next time, I have been the One Take Man.